Before I try to touch on the issues we are going to deal with in this workshop, I wondered if I shouldn't open the floor for maybe 5 minutes for some intervention of some sort. Maybe somebody has a burning question or a burning comment to make in relation to the presentations that have been made. So I want to open the floor for just about 5-10 minutes. Any comments, any perspectives on the issues that have been raised by any of the speakers? Yes.
Yeah, I think I would like to congratulate Sheila and the whole group for organizing such a wonderful meeting. And I would like to make a comment on this issue of linking it with something else. We have been linking it with health also, education, energy security, and it's time to also link with climate change, where women can play a lot of role in energy efficiency, renewable energy, and both in terms of reducing emissions, both in also that which is called mitigation, as well as in terms of adaptation. And here the involvement of women in adaptation would ensure climate resilient development, as well as much more active climate agenda can be achieved only if women join in this. Especially they are talking about huge efforts for energy efficiency, and there is also a lot of business models that can be developed when you link it with climate change, because there is also carbon credit, there is also huge amounts of investment coming into renewable energy. For example, it's jumping to about $250 billion now into solar, wind, and so on. And when you see these huge investments coming into renewable energy, partly because climate change, energy security, you feel that where are women into these new investments? And also another thing is linking it with macroeconomic policies. How much budget, how much imports, how much investment, which goes into many development sectors, end up into women's concerns. So development budgets, macroeconomics, and climate change are also the issues which can be linked with women, gender and energy.
Thank you. Anybody else? Any burning issue?
I think you raised a very important thing, the relation to climate, and the need to look for all kinds of ways to reduce the CO2 emissions, be it energy efficiency or be it just renewable energy. Yeah, I can only underscore the importance of your question. I don't think you had a question. Yes, a comment more than and I'm very happy that you raised it. I just mentioned Durban.
Comment for ENERGIA plan.
Yeah.
I have a comment as well, if I may. First of all, you can have negative effects on environment if you don't, if you're not careful when you, for example, if you chop down a lot of woods and plant something else, you know, it might be bad for the environment if you, because in some parts of the world they really do chop down a lot of wood and plant other things, and that is not good. So biomass also has to, renewable energy also has effect on the environment and should be taken care of. Always making an analysis of what will this lead to, especially if it's large scale. So that is one thing. Another thing is that it is not only the greenhouse gases that are spoken about today, also other air pollutants like the black carbon, which is emitted, for example, in this cooking, and it has several effects. So perhaps in the years to come we will hear more about that, because it will, if it comes to the places where there is snow and ice, you know, it will deposit on the snow and ice and they will melt quicker. So actually in the north where I live, there is a cooperation in the Nordic region. You know, it's Norway, but it's also Russia. Russia has a lot of land up there, and they spoke about this black carbon on their meeting earlier this year, because the thing that is different between greenhouse gases and these short-lived climate forces that they are talking about, it is that climate gases, they stay for very, very long times, you know, in the atmosphere. It's very difficult, or rather impossible, to get them out from the atmosphere if they have entered there. But you know, black carbon, it will wash out very quickly. Like after 10 days, it will be gone, especially if it rains. So that some people say that this is a chance to have do something that is quicker, you know, to do something about air pollutants that is quicker than to do something to reduce the greenhouse gases. So now you are confused, all of you, I guess, or did all of you who understood raise your hands? So my message was, watch out for these renewable energy. Always make it an assessment of environmental problems with it and try to diminish them. And the second is, watch out, read in the papers about this soot, and that, you know, it's a new thing, quite a new thing that they are talking about now.
Okay, yes.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I also want to congratulate ENERGIA for this meeting. My name is Matsepiso Makhabane. I come from South Africa. And I want to add, I listened very carefully on the Dutch and Swedish policymakers, their presentations. And for us in developing countries, I think the main issue still is awareness creation and education and training for women and for people on the grassroots, for them to meaningfully participate at all levels, whether it's a policy making, whether it's a decision making at all levels, whether it's actually doing something on the ground, and also, you know, women having energy businesses on the ground for their own well-being and also for income generation. And for me, the other thing is youth engagement and empowerment. I mean, if you look at me, I'm still very energetic. I still feel very young, but I'm 20 years already in the energy sector. And we are worn out. Having worked so hard, we as women and women advocates, we are getting old because we've been working very hard. We're getting worn out. So for me, the key issue about gender or women empowerment includes critically the question of youth empowerment as well, so that at least they still have energy, and whether it's boys and girls, for me, gender says women and youth. So as long as we are advocating and as well as we are actually looking at gender issues, let's look at gender issues within women and youth empowerment and capacitation. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I think there are so many issues that we could raise from the three presentations that have been made. And I really want to underline the very important role ENERGIA is playing in this field, in terms of bringing the gender perspective into discussions of energy. And I think that has been a phenomenal contribution because for once we are able to actually zero in on women's energy needs in our communities. Yesterday I was having a conversation with some of my colleagues from Uganda, my male colleagues from Uganda, and I was expressing to them how unacceptable it is for African women today to continue to carry head loads when we have produced so many engineers, African engineers. And I'm saying that it is back on us as policymakers in terms of how we engage with our development partners to ensure that we have the right kind of technologies that will relieve our women in Africa of the burdens that they carry in terms of metabolic energy, in terms of cooking energy, lighting, and so on. And maybe if I'll be a little bit personal, just about 2 weeks ago, I was with Professor Joy Clancy in Liberia, and we were horrified to hear that many people die, especially children, from the use of candles for lighting. I think that's an indictment on us as development practitioners in the global community, that up until now, some people around the world have to sleep with candles, and in that process, children who could perhaps in future have become presidents, good policymakers, they die before their time. And so, underscoring the very important point my sister has made about youth empowerment and bringing them on board. So without further ado, I would like to move on